Hi, and welcome to another podcast with Hanaz Writers Limited. My name's Charlotte, and I'm a Year 2 teacher. I've had experience working in a nursery for children aged 0 to 4 years old. And if you haven't heard any of these podcasts before, then check them out on Hanaz Writers' YouTube and Spotify channels. So, in today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about the world's youngest author ever to publish his book at the age of just 4 years old. Now, this author is a boy. He's called Saeed Rashed Almheiri. Hopefully, I'm getting that right. He's born in Abu Dhabi, UAE, and he was actually verified to hold the Guinness World Record for the youngest person to publish a book on the 9th of March in 2023. Now, his book is actually a children's book, and it's called The Elephant Saeed and the Bear. And since that time, I think when he got the Guinness World Record for youngest person to publish a book, he had sold over 1,000 copies of it since then. He might have even sold more now. It's only been a year. Well, yeah, it's been a year and a bit. So if you've heard of that book or you've seen it or you've read it, thank you for reading it. It has probably made his day. And he's also writing other books at the moment. I think he's got a whole series as well, but different story. So the book, Saeed, the Elephant and the Bear, is a story about kindness, a story about friendship, and it's between two unlikely animals. It's between an elephant called Saeed and a polar bear. Now, in the story, Saeed is having a picnic when he meets the polar bear. At first, Saeed is scared of the polar bear because he thinks that he will get eaten by him. Well, what happens next? Well, you're just going to have to read the book to find out about that. I'm not going to spoil it for you. In the interview with the World Guinness Book of Records, they asked him how he started writing, and he said that his mum and his sister helped him, showed Saeed how to read, and after that, he wanted to write his own book. I think the original book is written in Arabic, and it's translated into English. As I said earlier on, along with this book, he has also written a book series, and he's been trying to or a 4 or 5-year-old now, he tried to start an initiative to encourage children from ages 4 to 10 to write in Arabic or English, which is just amazing. I think this boy deserves a round of applause. Who else knows a 4 or 5-year-old who wants to do that for other children his age, between the ages of 4 and up to 10? I don't think I've spoken to any other 4 or 5-year-olds who have ever said anything like this. So I think, yeah, well done, good on him. And it's just such a positive thing in day and age for to be seeing this kind of a 4-year-old, a child, a 5-year-old. And I just also wanted to say this just highlights the importance of the English Creates campaign. In a previous podcast, I talked about the English Creates campaign. It's this whole idea of English creating support for people to read and write in English to a university degree, university standards. But I was thinking about this. It doesn't have to be in English. As this boy has, Saeed, shown us, it can be in any language, even Arabic. I know the campaign's English Creates campaign, but in fact, it should be any language creates. I think that is very important to highlight the difference between not just English, because yes, English is a very well-known language. It's the one that's spoken mostly throughout the world, along with Mandarin and German. But I think what the campaign is really all about is just getting people reading and writing in their own language. I think that's probably one good takeaway from the campaign. It's getting people to realize that any language in the world is valid, and any language needs people to study it, take it to a university degree at the university level, and then just use it in their everyday, because language is making us go round. Language makes the world go round. I know they say money makes the world go round, but language also helps too. So without people who can use language in different ways, especially when they're storytelling or just communicating, without them, it would be a bit tricky for us to communicate with other people. It'll still be tricky to write stories. It will be hard. And also, it'll be a bit boring and a bit dull. So being able to write and tell stories is a wonderful skill for anyone to have, really. Let me give you an example. So, for example, I was thinking about this was ever been to a party and you started talking to someone and they're telling you about an experience they've had. Just think about, how did that person sound to you? Were they excited to tell you about what they've been through, what they've seen, where they went? Or did they just sound a little bit boring and they seemed to have like no life to what they were saying? And they were just kind of like, yeah, I did this. Oh yeah, it was that. It was, yeah, it was right. It was good. And now think about your friends and your family, and think about, how did they tell you stories? How did they tell you about even the most mundane experiences, like saying they went to the shops or they went to the hairdressers, or they went out for a walk? Did they take the time to go into detail? Like, did they explain anything that happened to them on their journey or through their walk, or what did they see? Did they say things with enthusiasm, or did they just say things with 1-2 word answers like, good, yeah, that's all right, yeah, that thing? So, just to complete my point of view, my get across, I'm going to give you an example of a story, give you 2 different viewpoints of the story, and then you can give me your comments down below or leave a message. So, let's see. First part is I have to tell you the story. So this is your mum. She goes to buy something from the shops. And while she's out in the high street, she sees a marching band. Yay! And they are along the street or the road. The road's closed off. They're playing music. They're marching down the road, playing their song, whatever song they're playing. As she's walking, she can see lots of shopping stalls around the sides. They're all on the high streets, and small little activities just happening along the high street in front of each of the shops. Days she watches a marching band, then she visits the stalls and she asks people, what's the event about, what's happening, and why it goes off the road, why is there a marching band, why do they have all days? And then she comes home and she tells you casually, oh yeah, do you know what, they closed the high street outside because they said they're celebrating the new mayor just being elected. And that's it. She doesn't say that there was a marching band, doesn't tell you there's shopping stalls or anything along the high street. She doesn't tell you anything else except that, oh yeah, they closed the high street because they're celebrating the new mayor. And she doesn't tell you anything about anything that happened. And you might question her, like, oh, why did they close it? What's happening? What's outside? And she might just be like, yeah, they closed the road. Yeah, they thought that they wanted to celebrate the mayor. And you're like, oh, if it's a celebration and what things are happening? And she might just be like, yeah, there's a few things out there, like some stalls. Yeah, there might have been a band or something, Hearing this, all these things that she's telling you, how do you feel about the event? Not really making you excited to go, or not really making you feel like, oh, okay, I should go and see it, or oh, okay, so it's kind of a boring kind of point of view, really. And she hasn't really sold it in this scenario. So the second scenario is that she tells you, as soon as she comes back from the shops, so she comes in from the shops and she goes, oh, hey, did you know they closed the shops and the high street outside? They're celebrating the new mayor because, yeah, he came into power after the elections last week. They had a huge marching band. They're walking down the middle of the street and they're all playing songs. So it was really great. I think you might know them. They even put up like on the road and on the pavement too. And, they were doing some face painting. Oh, there's a tombola out there as well, and a lot of clothing shops. There's a lot out there. So I only went to see and visit a few stalls. Do you want to go and see it? Now, how do you feel about the event? This kind of makes it seem a bit more alive, a bit more exciting. It's something you want to go and join in. You want to be part of this event. I want to go and see what's happening. I want to go and see who's there and what's happening, and I'll be there. It kind of makes you feel interested in it. You're thinking, wow, it's so interesting. And you want to go and see the stalls. You want to go and see what's happening. And the way that your mum has described it makes it seem, completely to how it was before. It sounds exciting, it sounds fun, it sounds different, your house and there's stuff happening outside. You want to go out, see the world, what's going on out there. And I think that this is very interesting. Like the time in the first scenario, she's just explaining, a few things out. She seems unbothered, seems a bit bored of it herself, and she's like, yeah, it's just, people are doing stuff, and it's not really interesting. even though there's lots of interesting stuff happening, right? And in the second scenario, she's actually talking about things. She's got an excitement in her voice. She's talking about all the different things that she saw, and she visited the stalls and she saw this, she saw that. Oh, there's a marching band. Oh, this and that and the other. And yeah, that makes you feel, oh, I want to be part of that. Oh, I want to go and see that. Oh, you make it sound so good. And I think that's the most interesting part about writing and listeners. It's interesting that just a few differences in what you say, a small way of explaining things, describing events, it can give the listener, the reader, a different point of view, gives them different types of emotions as well. So you're seeing things differently and you're also feeling them as well, because the way that the other person is describing it, they're putting their feelings, they're putting their thoughts, they're putting their emotions into it, and it's making you part of that. You're feeling those emotions, feeling those fears and fun and laughter, and oh, okay. And it makes you also feel that way too. And because you feel that way, you feel good, or you feel scared, or you feel bad, or you feel good, happy or sad or anxious, or whatever it is that the reader or the person talking to you is feeling. And you feel those feelings. You kind of them, your emotions as well. This is what they've experienced, and they're explaining it to you as best they can using their words. And I think that's writing is all about. It's for you to get your emotions across, get your feelings across. Even if you're writing about another person, or you're writing in the point of view of a character, you're getting that character's thoughts, emotions, ideas, feelings. You're getting it across to the reader or the listener or whoever. And, you then feel part of it. And I think that's great. And it is what's one of those things that helps a good writer suddenly become a great writer, because you're in it, you're getting everyone involved, you're getting the listeners involved, you're getting the readers involved, you're making people feel part of the event. And people like feeling included, they like feeling being part of something bigger, I guess is the best way to say. And I think great writers are able to do that when they do their writing or whenever they're telling their story. So that's I have time for today. So thank you very much for listening to this podcast. As always, let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. What's your take on being a great writer, no matter what your age? I just want to say congratulations to Saeed. Well done. You did really well for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. You are setting the example above and beyond. Okay. Enjoyed this podcast. Don't forget, you can subscribe. Click the subscribe button below. You can hear more podcasts from Hanaz Writers on their YouTube and Spotify channels. You can also follow Hanaz Writers on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Their handle is @hanaz.writers. And don't forget also the hashtag English Creates. Until next time, thank you for listening. Bye.